Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am going to show you a recipe that I kind of promised to a good family friend. We had made some fruit pies, and I promised that we would show some cream pies. And so I'm going to start with a creamy key lime pie that we like and show you how to make that. Before I do, I was getting some of my ingredients out of my pantry, and I came across a jar that my husband made for me, and I'm sure you can't see that. It says preserve something, and he was just testing out his laser. But I had seen a hack where they had taken a mason jar and their cupcake liners, and I don't know, I'm really guilty of, I never remember if I have enough cupcake liners, so I buy more, and then I end up buying more, and I have an abundance of them. And so the hack showed that you take a wide mouth mason jar, and that's where you store your extra cupcake liners. And so I thought that was kind of handy. So this will fit in my cupboard a lot better than having all those loose ones, and they won't get all crushed. So I thought that was a cute idea, and I thought I'd share it with you. But we're gonna make this creamy key lime pie, and the crust is a little bit different. We're gonna start with a package. It's an 11.3 ounce package of pecan sandies cookies. They're Keebler's, the ones I buy. You could buy an off-brand if you wanted to. But I took those and I crushed those up in a Ziploc bag and then put them in my bowl. To that, I'm going to add 1/3 cup of melted butter. And this will be our crust for our creamy key lime pie. Now, if you have some of the cookie pieces that didn't break up real well, it's not a big deal. You can either, when you go in, you can either break them up a little bit more, or it's not going to hurt it to be in the crust because the filling will actually help soften those up a little bit. So I've got this mixed. Now I'm going to put this into my 9-inch pie plate. And I don't have to bake this crust because the cookies are already baked, and so it makes it super simple. And then I'm going to just press that up the sides a little bit and on the bottom of the pie plate. This just adds a little more flavor. You could use a graham cracker crust if you wanted to, but it's just something different for your key lime pie. There's another one of those cookie pieces that didn't break up. As even as I can. Okay. Now while I'm making the rest of my items, I can set this aside because it's already done. Okay, so there's my pie shell. I'm gonna set that off to the side. Now in another bowl, I am going to take 4 cups of heavy cream. And I'm going to use my electric mixer to beat this up until it forms some soft peaks. It'll start to thicken up, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do after that. So I used my electric mixer, and I beat my cream, and you can see it's forming a soft peak. It's really thickened up. It took me about 2 minutes to do that. And now I'm ready to add some powdered sugar. So I'm going to add 1/4 cup of powdered sugar to this. And I'm also going to add some coconut extract. So this isn't a pie my husband's crazy about because he's not crazy about coconut. So I'm going to add to this just a little bit of the coconut extract, about a teaspoon of it. There will be more coconut on top of it, so I don't need to worry about it too much. But about a teaspoon. And then I'm going to use my electric mixer again and beat this up until stiff peak forms. So that won't take very long, but my mixer is loud. Okay. So now my whipped cream is done. I'm going to rinse off my beater bars because I'm going to use my mixer again on the next stage of this pie. So in another bowl, I'm going to do the next stage of this. And to this, I'm going to take 8 ounces of cream cheese. And this is the main filling of this pie. So I'm going to take the 8 ounces of cream cheese. The extra off the paper. And to that, I'm going to add a can of sweetened condensed milk. And then I want to, what makes this a key lime pie, I'm going to add my lime juice. I, this morning, took some key limes, and if you've ever worked with key limes, they're very small, and so it takes a lot of them to make a little bit of lime juice. So I've only done this with fresh lime juice, but I have read in places that you can use substitutes, like I have Nellie and Joe's Key West lime juice, and from concentrate, and there are people that say if it's a good lime juice, whether it's key lime juice or not, that you can use that. But I have half a cup plus a couple of tablespoons of freshly squeezed key lime juice. So I'm going to use my mixer and mix those together. Someplace to set that. I keep hearing my cord and thinking there's someone at my door. And there's not. Get it loud again. Okay. Once that's smooth, I'm going to take about 2 cups of my whipped cream mixture that I made just a few minutes ago. And I'm going to go ahead and fold that into my filling. It smells so good. It smells like I'm in Florida. Or somewhere on the beach. Okay, so I've got my pie shell that we made. I'm going to go ahead and add our filling. When we're all done with this, you're going to want to put this in the refrigerator and let it set. And it'll take it probably about 4 hours to set to be firm enough to actually serve. Okay. Now on top of this goes my whipped cream mixture. I need to spoon on top. I'm so used to with cream pies that I bake having to get it all the way to the edge and seal it. I guess I technically wouldn't have to on this pie since it doesn't have to be baked. And I'm gonna top mine off with a little bit of coconut. You could toast the coconut if you want to, but you don't have to. And then you will have your creamy key lime pie. You can go up to 1/4 cup of the coconut. And if you toast it, just be really careful not to burn it. Just give it a light toasting. Okay, I'm gonna set this in the fridge and we'll have it later. Hello and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. It's been kind of a nutty day, busy day. So we got up this morning and started doing some work, and one of those things on our agenda, you can see in the background, there's a big box on the counter. We went up to my son's and picked peaches. And so now I get to do peaches, and I might share some of the recipes for preserving peaches, like peach butter, peach jam, those kinds of things. I'm not sure. Anyway, that and canning more pasta sauces, and so it's just that time of year where we live, where the fruits and vegetables are ready to harvest. And so anyway, I had promised a friend of mine that I would share one of my favorite pie recipes, and I'm finally getting to it. And I'm going to show you the coconut cream pie recipe that I like, and I'm doing it now for a specific reason. My grandson's birthday party is going to be here at our house tomorrow evening, and I am the only one of my husband and I that will eat coconut cream pie. And so if I don't make it when someone is coming for company, then I have a whole pie to myself, and that's just too much. So that's the method to my madness. So let's get started. I've already made my pie shell and baked it. I did that. I did 2 pie shells just yesterday. So in anticipation of this. So in my pan, and you want a fairly heavy saucepan to do this in, and a fairly deep one. I am going to combine 3/4 cup of sugar and a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of flour and a 1/2 teaspoon of just regular salt. I'll whisk those things together. And then to that, I want to whisk in 4 cups of cold milk. I don't have any heat on yet until I get this whisked in. Once that's combined, I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat on. And I want to bring this up to a boil on a medium to medium high, but I want to be really careful not to scorch this. So I want to keep whisking it, and I want to bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to let it boil 2 minutes. So I will come back when this is ready for the next step. So bring it to a boil, let it boil 2 minutes. Okay, so I've been whisking my sugar, flour, salt combination that has my egg, or my milk, my 4 cups of milk whisked in, and I've got another few seconds to go ahead and have this heat, but as you can see, it's gotten thick, and I have separated 6 eggs, and I want to temper my yolks. When you break these eggs apart and separate them, make sure that you don't get any yolk mixed in with your egg white, because we're going to make a meringue out of that, and fat is the enemy of meringue, so we want to make sure that we don't get any in. But now that this has been boiling for 2 minutes, I want to set it off the heat some, and we're going to temper these eggs. and egg yolks. And how you do that, you're gonna mix those up and gradually add a little bit of the hot mixture while you're whisking. And we just want to bring the yolks up to temperature so that we don't have chunks of cooked egg in our custard. So we're gonna gradually add that. And I have a 1/4 cup measuring cup here in my hand. I'm probably gonna add in about 3/4 of a cup to a cup before I'm ready to go ahead and mix the yolks in with the remainder of what's in my pan. And again, we're just doing this because we don't want chunks of yolk in our custard. If you've never tempered eggs before, it's not a hard process other than your arm gets kind of tired of doing that. Okay, there's about 3/4, maybe another 1/4, and then we'll slowly add our yolk, our tempered yolks in with what's in our pan over heat. Set that aside. Put that back over the heat. And then while I'm whisking, I'm going to slowly add that yolk mixture that we've tempered into what's in my pan. I don't know if you can see what we're doing here. Sliding off the heat source. I think my arms would be in good shape with the energy it takes to whisk this in, but I guess I just don't do it often enough. Okay, we've got that coming back up to a boil, and we want it to boil another couple of minutes before we remove it from the heat again. So I will come back for the next step. Okay, so I've whisked this for 2 minutes, and you can see how nice our filling is starting to look. I'm going to turn the heat off, and now I'm ready to go ahead and stir in my vanilla. I want that off the heat. I have 4 teaspoons or a tablespoon plus a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I want 2 cups of coconut, shredded coconut. So let me get the vanilla in first. Let's see how pretty that is. And then I want my 2 cups of coconut. Stir that in, and then this is ready to go in our pie shell. And then I'll show you how to make the meringue that goes over this before we put it back in the oven. And we'll work quickly with the meringue because we want to put it over our hot filling. So move my pie shell over, put our filling in. And if you had the heat at the right setting and whisked constantly, you'll find that there's no scorched filling at the bottom of your pan, which is what you're after. You don't want that scorched filling because then you can taste it. So I'll come back and show you how to make the meringue that's going to go over the top of this. When we make our meringue, I've used my hand mixer before, to make meringue, and I'm not crazy. I don't think that it incorporates enough air. It's not as pretty as when you use the big mixer. So I'm going to use that, and it is loud. So I want to tell you ahead of time what we're going to do. I have 6 egg whites, and remember, try very hard not to get any fat in it. So it will develop like you want to. And to that, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. And then I'm gonna beat this until it starts to form a soft peak. At that point, I'm gonna start adding in my 3/4 cup of sugar just a little bit at a time until it reaches the stiff peak stage. Then I'll be ready to put that over my pie, which I'll show you when it's done, and then I'll put some coconut on top and put it in a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes or until the meringue browns a little bit and the coconut toasts. So my eggs and my cream of tartar are in there. I'm gonna go ahead and get to soft peak. To the foamy stage, which the next comes soft peak fruit. When you're looking at it for a soft peak stage, what you want is to look kind of like that Dairy Queen ice cream cone. I explained this once when I made Angel Food cake. The Dairy Queen ice cream cone where it has a little flip on the top, so it won't hold that stiff peak, but it starts to peak a little bit. And it kind of looks a little bit like whipped cream. This is my favorite coconut cream pie recipe. Like I said, it's got such a good flavor. That vanilla just brings out the other flavors that it has. So let me show you this. We're just about to soft peak. I'm going to take this off and show you how it comes up, but it folds over. Okay, so to this, I want to start to gradually add that 3/4 cup of sugar. You don't have to measure how much you put in each addition. Just don't go too crazy, but you've already measured your 3/4 cup, so. Some people will tell you to go a tablespoon at a time. Couple more additions. Okay, show you what we see how now it's nice and thick and that stands up. Don't lose any of that in my mixer. So now we're ready to start putting it on our prepared pie. Anytime you make a fruit pie, and I mentioned this when I made the last fruit pie, make sure that when you put meringue on that it goes all the way to the crust. You want to make sure it seals, otherwise that crust or the meringue will shrink up to the center of the pie. So you just want to make sure you seal it. really do think the KitchenAid makes really nice meringue. The whisk on it just really seems to give you good volume. I'm going to take just a little, about half a cup to a cup of my, let's see all sides here, coconut, and we're going to sprinkle that over the top before we put this in the oven. Okay, I think we're ready for the oven. So about 15 minutes or so in a 350 oven, and then I will show you the result. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.